I never thought being late would be fortuitous, but if I hadn't have been late that August in 1988, I would have never met Paul Darman.
Waiting for the out of class. Remember a long time ago when we first walked up those stairs into the training class? I first realized how much shorter you were than I was.
Yeah.
And remember, I asked you quite bluntly, do you have any problem with me being this tall?
I remember exactly what I said. I said, everybody is taller than I am. So you're no different. You could have been 5 feet tall, and you still would have been taller than me. So it doesn't make any difference.
What about your condition? What caused this to happen? What is the name of your condition, and what?
The name of the condition is osteogenesis imperfecta, and what that means in English is basically that the bone cells do not form the tissue matrix that they need in the proper way. So if you think of bone as a plaster of Paris sculpture, and there's a mineral component, which is the plaster part, and then there's a tissue component, which is kind of like the chicken wire upon which you put the plaster, except in bone that wire is not wire, that wire is actually soft tissue. But it has to form the right kind of shape, and then it's impregnated with plaster, which is the mineral. And in my case, the tissue does not form the proper way, and so there are kinks in it. And so when the minerals are deposited, the overall strength of the structure is not what it should be. And so that led to a lot of bone fractures as a child, and that did a lot of damage to the growth cells in my leg bones.
So tell me how you ended up in Arizona.
How did I end up in Arizona?
After being raised in Boston.
It was actually a spur of the moment kind of decision. I was at Boston College. It was in my 3rd year, but because of the snow and the ice and the difficulty I had getting around on snow and ice, I had a lot of falls and a lot of injuries on the ice, and I was recuperating in the hospital. I was in traction, and it was February of '74. I said to my father, I said, we've got to figure out some way to get around this snow and ice problem. This is absolutely ridiculous. So he brought in a big map of the United States. We taped it up on the wall. And then he took a red pen and he started around San Francisco, and he drew kind of a squiggly red line like you see on the weather maps from San Francisco all the way down to Phoenix, and then clear across the country, and it hit the Atlantic Ocean somewhere around Chapel Hill, North Carolina, right around there. And he said, okay, south of this line, it doesn't snow. So let's find a college somewhere south of here that you'd like to go. And we went to Texas and Arizona and California, and we ruled out California because it was too flaky. And then Arizona was real nice because it was a small state, not that crowded, flat campus, and they had a very active program to help physically disabled people on campus. And it was technically a very strong chemistry program and life sciences program.
Well, besides taking photographs and shooting guns and that sort of stuff, I know you like to travel. Why do you like traveling so much?
I like to travel because I enjoy people, and the thing I like the most is learning and studying how people are in different places. And people, even in the United States, are very, very different. And I really enjoy the diversity of that. If you stay in one place too long, you get skewed in your your beliefs and your attitudes and even the sense of right and wrong varies from place to place. Before you can say that you're really an American, you have to have experienced as many different regions of the country as possible, because that's the great strength of the country.
How do you feel about people that are less than discreet when they pass by you on the street and stare and gawk and point?
They're just curious. That's all. I mean, I don't cut a normal swath when I'm out and about, so people are just curious, and there's nothing wrong with being curious. That's human nature, and that's fine, and I think that's to be expected. But I have to go about my business, and I'm not out there to entertain people. I'm out there to get things done. And so if people are interested and want to stop and talk and ask questions, that's fine.
How do you view life from your perspective?
Well, I've had the benefit, and I use that word, benefit, of being ill as a child. And one instance in particular. And that means that everything after that is gravy. And so anything that I achieve, anything that I accomplish, over and above that which I had achieved at age 12 when I was very sick, is extra. People with disabilities, some people with disabilities, feel that they are owed an opportunity, that society or a company or an organization owes them something. And my feeling is society doesn't owe you jack shit. The only thing is that you owe yourself the chance to try. And society doesn't owe you anything. And sometimes you have to be more creative than the average person and be willing to do things a little bit differently than the average person in order to get along in the non-disabled world. And so my life's philosophy has always been that I will work harder, be smarter, get along with people better, be a team player all the way, and make a company not just want to hire me, but make a company want me as a person.
Paul and I were married in October 1990. I remember thinking at one time that I wasn't special enough for him. But now I know that all I have to do is try and keep up with him.